G'day guys and gal, another day, another theoretical video backed up by in-law evidence. Now there is already a channel dedicated to theories regarding 40k, however there is also a channel dedicated to a specific type of architecture, yet they have really branched out into other topics in recent times, so why can't I? What if the Emperor died? I want to do a quick shout out to Kurioth TV who briefly talked about this a couple years ago. I didn't get the idea from his video, however I always do a quick search when I think of something and his popped up. This video will be quite different to his as the lore has progressed a fair bit in the last few years, and I'll be talking about theories that are backed up by evidence in the lore of the various things that would 100% happen if the Emperor died, not just a base level discussion about the topic. Before we get started, as you know, I have a partnership with the company Displate, who print artwork onto metal canvas, and those canvases look absolutely mint bro. I've had artwork made specifically for Displate, and at the moment I am working with an artist to create artwork for all the homebrew chapters featured in my Homebrew Adventures animation. So far, the Meme Marine and the newly added Angry Marine are available, so if you want some new artwork to jazz up your life, then this is the place to be. Order through my link below to get an extra 2cm added to your dick size. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Displate hate it when I give these kind of guarantees, but that's okay. Today we'll discuss what we know for a fact would happen the moment Timmy trips over the Emperor's life support cord, and what the consequences would be. After that we will then discuss what would probably happen, but we don't know for sure, and then at the end we can make some educated guesses based on a bit of cheeky theory crafting. Let's get into it. The Imperium of Man, the Emperor's empire, is constantly under threat from Xenos, demons, chaos, and itself. Many of these space arseholes would gladly see the Emperor as a corpse. Well, you know, a dead corpse, you know what I mean. The Biggie already isn't doing so hot after his bald piece of poo son Horus put him on disability benefits, but he is still clinging to life, and basically holding the Imperium together from his golden throne. But what if he finally dies for real? What if the Greenskins break in and slay him? What if the Eldar assassinate him? What if Khorne claims his skull? Or what if one day he's sick of all these ungrateful religious pricks performing war crimes in his name and he decides to unplug his own life support and send himself off? Well, a number of things would happen immediately, and none of them would be good for the Imperium. Firstly, the ruined Webway Gate, which was supposed to be mankind's salvation from chaos, but instead turned into a direct portal to hell, would open. The Emperor was the one keeping it closed with his psychic might, and with him gone, an endless tide of demons would pour into the Imperial Palace. The Custodes, Sisters of Silence, and other defenders would be able to contain the demons for some time, just like how they did during the Horus Heresy, but they would be fighting a losing battle. None of that would really matter though, as Vulcan had planted an emergency doomsday device in the Golden Throne should the Emperor ever truly die. A bomb, which upon the Emperor's death, would explode and completely wipe out the planet, acting as a last-ditch fuck you to whoever took the Big E down. Hence, all the Custodes, demons, and countless humans on the planet would instantly die, and Chaos would be denied Terra as a prize. Now, that already sucks a lot. However, it gets worse as the Astronomicon, the beacon that the Imperium uses to figure out where the fuck they are going whenever they warp jump, would be destroyed. Last time the Astronomicon went offline for a bit, countless ships were forever lost to the warp and a lot of people died. On top of that, it means that fleets cannot travel large distances at all, so whilst local planets and systems would still be within reach, isolated planets would be more or less cut off and living in the darkness, not aware of what horrors were coming to tickle their rectum. Metaphorically. Unless it's the Dark Elder, then quite literally. Now, that is what we know for a fact would happen initially. A lot of people are like, we would enter into a new age of strife, or the Emperor would return because he's a perpetual, and whilst those theories carry weight, they aren't 100% confirmed to be the case. Call, that cheeky mechanical hentai looking fuckboy, is actively working on a solution. He's nearly not only figured out the location of various Pharos devices, which act as mini Astronomicons built by the Necrons, but he has almost figured out how to build them himself. Given enough time and heresy, he will figure it out, hence he will build a backup plan. This currently doesn't exist though, and the Emperor's light switching off would be a massive setback in terms of finding the other Pharos devices. However, it would not make it impossible. If Gilliman, some Sisters of Silence, Call, and a talented psyker like Chief Librarian Tigerus, as well as a couple solid navigators, were able to reach each other, it's likely they would have enough of a dream team to make their way through the warp and reach the different Pharos devices. To actually succeed on this, however, they would probably need a Necron, either the Silent King or Trance the Infinite, to lend them a hand. Would actually be a pretty cool adventure story. In the meantime, yes, thousands of Imperial worlds would fall to Chaos, Xenos, or to themselves. Planets reliant on food from Agri worlds would be also pretty screwed. Some places, like Space Marine homeworlds or Ultramar, would do okay, and likely hold together unless invaded by overwhelming odds. For a better reference as to what would happen, we have Imperium Nihilus, which is currently half of the galaxy that has been cut off from the Astronomicon due to the fall of Cadia and Abaddon's first ever actual victory. Things are obviously pretty grim on this side of the galaxy, however mankind still stands strong, especially since the Blood Angels are on that side. They do still receive help from the other side of the galaxy, which does have the Astronomicon, so it's not a perfect model. However, the point I'm trying to make is that with the Space Marines, mankind will likely fare better cut off from each other now than during the Age of Strife. Now, it has been confirmed that the Emperor is a perpetual, which basically means he technically cannot die, or if you want to kill him, it's super difficult. His perpetual status is why he's still able to be alive despite appearing super dead. The effort is taking him to power the Astronomicon and keep Terra from getting overrun from demons is counteracting his healing effects, leaving him in this suspended undead state. Now, being perpetual doesn't mean you're like Wolverine and you just heal. It means that if your body's completely destroyed to the last atom, you'll reappear somewhere else. So logically, if the Emperor was killed and then obliterated by Vulcan's super bomb, then he would reappear somewhere else. So we should just kill the Emperor, right? Wrong. The Emperor is aware of his perpetual status and also what would happen if he died, yet he chooses to stay on the throne. It's likely that he believes that the loss of the Terra, the Astronomicon, as well as himself for an unknown period of time it takes for him to regenerate would not be worth him returning in the flesh. On top of that, the Emperor is considered to be more powerful now in his corpse state than when he was on the battlefield, due to thousands of years of countless humans praising him. He's currently fighting a war against the Chaos Gods themselves in the warp, so it's likely that if he was forced back into his mortal form, the Chaos Gods would be able to exert even more influence upon the galaxy. Finally, there's a chance that due to his wounds sustained by Horus, he would not properly regenerate or not regenerate at all. Maybe he would be weakened, or maybe he would have amnesia. Whatever the cause of it, a regenerated Emperor would not be worth the cost. That more or less sums up what we know would happen. The lights would turn off, Terra would explode and a lot of people would die, yet mankind would continue to endure, at least for a time, without some kind of intervention or saving grace. Overall, a shit time. At least, initially. Here is where some theory crafting comes in. The Imperium are the only faction in the galaxy that use the Astronomicon. The Eldar have their webway, the Tau use limited warp jumps that don't require Gellerfields or navigators, the Orcs just YOLO it and trust Gork and Mork to send them somewhere fun, and the Necrons have galactic teleporters, or also use the webway depending on what you see as canon. So there are solutions. Pretty much all the Xenos, other than the Tyranids, have been shown to be willing to work with mankind in desperate situations. Guilliman was revived by the Eldar, the Tau and the Imperium have fought the Tyranids together, as have the Orcs and the Imperium, and the Necrons and the Imperium. Fuck Tyranids. The loss of the Emperor is a pretty desperate time, hence I believe it could create an alliance between mankind and certain Xenos, a proper alliance. Call and parts of the Mechanicus would be happy to treat with the Necrons, especially the progressive ones like the Silent King or Trance the Infinite, in order to combat Chaos together, as Chaos would be running rampant throughout the galaxy, like an ADHD kid who took an EpiPen instead of Ritalin. This would likely lead to the use of more Necron pylons and the Pharos devices to aid Mars in exchange for their help in reversing the Necrons back into their flesh and blood forms, which is the Silent King's ultimate goal. Meanwhile, Guilliman and his Blue Boys would shag some Eldar to get their help, likely promising the return of Eldar Maiden Worlds as well as all craft worlds coming under Imperial protection in exchange for limited use of the webway. Now, this is all just theory crafting, and knowing 40k, things would go wildly wrong at some point. However, there is a good chance that the more reasonable parts of humanity could team up with the Xenos to not only survive, but also thrive. If the Emperor does revive, as we expect him to as well, then perhaps in a couple thousand years, mankind, united with Xenos, will have beaten Chaos and the Tyranids. But alas, I am a heretic, and I expect an Inquisitor's bullet to come visit my brain any second now. And that does us for today, guys. What would happen if the Emperor died? In the short term, not good. In the long term, Probably not good. However, there is potential for a very interesting scenario, which I hope Games Workshop will one day have the balls to explore. People just gotta stop buying the fucking Primaris first, and instead buy some Xenos, and we could be on here. If you enjoyed the video, want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai, and $10 gives you access to the premium Majorkill hentai calendar. Also, Chapter Master Valrak hentai is on the way, so you wouldn't want to miss that. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more theoretical content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!